and welcome to Shoreline Music Monthly. My name is Mark Koschwitz. This is episode 79 in our series of shows where we bring you the talented singers and songwriters of the Connecticut scene. As I'm taping right now, we're actually having a spring for the first time in seemingly years, and sadly that kind of decimated the Meriden Daffodils Festival's music lineup this past weekend. But in the near future, this very week, of which we're taping, we have the Clinton First Thursday. We have the Madison Farm Markets opening this Friday. So by the time this airs, farm markets will be up and running. Outdoor venues are coming back. The Shoreline's waking up. And so here we go. I am very happy to have with me today in the studio a very talented singer and songwriter. Her name is Jill Thompson. And we're going to chat a little bit, and you're going to meet her tonight. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark.
I'm so glad that we made this happen. We had a hiccup or two, yeah. But we have got it. I'm glad you found it. Just, I guess, to let these folks know, I'm aware of you. I've heard you play live. I listen to your album with some regularity in my house. Maybe give these folks a little background. What brought you to music, or did you play as a child? Is this a later thing?
I'd say music came to me as a young person. Started with piano. We always had a piano in the house. There was always music in the house. My mother had an eclectic collection of music. My sisters, older than me, so I got to experience, the artists of the '60s, and nice. Not just your mainstream artists, but like Leonard Cohen, Robert Johnson, John Mayall. I mean, my sister had real, very interesting taste in music. So,
were you the youngest in the family?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So there was always music, and my mother was. She was a visual artist, but she also really loved music, and so there was Marty Robbins and Patsy Cline, and I just heard so many different things. And then as I got a little older and had musical friends, they turned me on to other things like jazz and different artists of the day, and so. It just always came at me from many directions.
Now, as a child, were there actual piano lessons, or was there kind of the music in the house and tinkling kind of stuff?
Yeah, there was an attempt for all of us to take lessons. Your obligatory Saturday morning lessons that we weren't very kind to the teacher. So no, the lessons...
They didn't take?
Nah, they didn't really take, but I played by ear, and then once I started to just sit and play, I realized how much I really loved, playing, and that I could compose things. And
so you started writing music pretty young then?
Yeah, piano and then guitar. Being left-handed, the guitars I had access to were not, and I really didn't realize. I did play upside down for a while, but I felt limited, and it was frustrating. I really didn't have anybody that said, let's get you a left-handed guitar. So I kind of just did the best I could, playing reverse strings, but I certainly didn't do the extent of creating that I have since I've gotten left-handed guitars and learned to expand on that.
So upside down, that can't really work that well.
Yeah,
right?
It was limited. I could do a few blues things, C, D, and G was easy to figure out upside down and things like that. But like I said, it wasn't really, I got discouraged by it, and so I didn't really start playing a lot of my own really writing until probably I was 20, when a friend of mine actually gave me a left-hand guild,
Nice.
and I still have it to this day. So that's when things started opening up. It's like, oh, so this is a chord you can play, and you know.
Okay, now, so were you in any little combos with friends through this, or were you mostly, writing and performing alone?
Yeah, I was solo.
Solo?
I did some coffee houses back in the 80s. There were several places in Hartford, the Cellar Door, and some various little venues here and there. But I didn't really stay with it.
Yeah, life happens.
Yeah,
I think,
it became more. I got to get a job, and But in the it did float in and out, and I'd hang out with musicians, and I took some music courses at Greater Hartford Community College before it was Capital. So yeah, it's just always been somewhere in the perimeter.
You never put it all the way down.
But I always wrote. Whether it was, just being contemplative, writing, I've always been a writer. So
even prose or poetry?
Yeah, just thoughts that, maybe if I had formatted them right, the correct way, they would be songs, verse, chorus, verse. But mostly I always get a flood of ideas of writing, a prolific writer. Are they always songs? No, but I'm always flooded with something to write.
Mind is always working.
Well, you took something that didn't belong to you, bring it on back to me. I called it love, but you rose above it just to look down on me. I was a child, but now I'm a woman, and I'm looking to be set free. I'm vengeful and sweet, but I'm mired in grief. Bring it on back to me. Now what gave you the right to change my destiny? Thieves come at night, but you chose the light to make a fool out of me. I was naive to the things up your sleeve. Bring it on back to me. Now it's hard to believe anything that I perceive. Bring it on back to me. The goods that you stole wasn't cheap stuff to unload in some back alley. Still you went on your way after collecting your pay. Bring it on back to me. You committed the crime, instead I did the time. Who lives this way? I rarely sleep now, the anger is so deep. Bring it on back to me. Can't even be safe in my dreams. You cut the seams and you come on through. I keep a gun by my bed, but it's all in my head. Bring it on back to me. been too many years, and I fear the tears have no other place to go. So I let them in because it wasn't my sin, and I shouldn't be ashamed to know. I was a child, now I'm a woman, and I'm looking to be set free. I'm vengeful and sweet, but I'm so mired in grief. Bring it on back to me.
Well, you eventually did get
Yeah,
a collection of them
yeah.
that you put down, and I always find that, when they're actually recorded, now they're like static. Now they're done.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, I mean, they may not be, because maybe you'll perform them slightly differently when you
Yeah.
play them, but what was that like?
That was pretty exciting. It was done at the Dirt Floor in East Haddam, Eric Lichter. And
Can't go wrong there.
it's always a funny story how I found the place, because I really wasn't looking for a studio. I was looking for a kitten. And yeah, I went on Craigslist. And for some reason, his studio came up. And I'm like, gee, a studio in Connecticut. I wonder what that's about. And, next thing I know, we're emailing, and I said, I got some songs I might like to do, and that's how it developed. But I had no intention of, seeking him out, and but it just worked. And
Sometimes the universe wants to tell you something.
it's like, didn't get the kitten, but I got an album, and so yeah, it did work out. And the songs on that, most of them, I hate to refer to the COVID period, but it was during that time, and I bought that little guitar, and I was living in
Another guild, right?
the little Westerly collection, and I was living out in a very secluded place, so the pandemic really didn't faze me. I was already isolated, that's how I lived. It just didn't faze me that all this was going on, and I did a lot of writing, so I pretty much wrote most of everything during that period.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe a year and a half.
Wow. So they're all recent vintage, and
Yeah,
because I know
it was.
you mentioned you had been writing for years, so
Yeah.
there's still a lot more songs we got to get down at some point, maybe.
Yeah, and a lot of the songs I wrote earlier are probably gone now. I mean, I'm not connected to what I may have written,
Yeah,
like
understood.
10 years ago.
Right.
But if I look at the lyrics, I go, oh, I really should have done something with that song. But so this is what it is now, and it's inspiring, and it seems to flow pretty easily. I don't have a lot of that. I've got to make a living off this, or is it good enough? I don't have a lot of that stuff left. No, it's just
Now, is there a story behind the name, Summertime Child?
just the title of the song that I wrote.
Okay.
So that's where that
Just
came
pick
from. It's
the-
just it was a song. It's a song about the street I grew up on, pretty much. Just a short period of time of growing up and remembering summer and how much I enjoyed it, and it's also it rolls into so many things, because then it becomes the present place where, when I was living in this house, I was considering maybe moving, because it was a huge house. It was a big house, and like the story will say, maybe I should move on, because it was getting a little bit much, the work and upkeep. So that song it's kind of rolled into all that, and then it kind of morphs into, well, when I was a child walking down my street, and that's what kind of happens with the songs is they just they change into so many things. And a good example of that is one of the songs on there called Taste for Blood, which I wrote in Middletown. That's where the house was, after I had coyotes running through the yard, and they took it. One took a deer down, And so that's how that song began. And then it morphed into...
And yet it seems to be about so much more.
Yeah, and then it morphed into a relationship, kind of a, you know, personality or something. So yeah, they're never like, it's rare that one is going to go right straight down the pike and be exactly what the idea is. They're a little abstract, but not really abstract. You know, I don't know how to explain it. It's just that way.
Saw you running through the woods, your tongue hanging to one side. The thick coat on for winter warmth, and that deep snow to turn in stride. I watched you from my window, I kept you in my sight. Then something caught my eye that didn't look quite right. I stepped out into the barely light hour of the day. Up to where the young carcass lay. The carnage that you left behind seemed hardly worth the kill. I heard your breath and exhale as you retreated back up the hill. I saw the tracks go down the mud when the strike had come. At best it was a brave struggle, or just an attempt to run. I know there's a saint who advocates for you, already forgiving what you do. Your essence never hesitates to take down something young, so patient as it separates its innocence you'll stun. I thought I never held a grudge, but I think there might be one. Who am I to judge? You have a taste for blood. Somehow it reminds me of you, and I see how far I've come. The need you have to pursue, never looking back at what you've done. I see them running through the woods, the bitches and their stud. There's beauty in their prowess, though they have a taste for blood. Sometimes when I think of you and I see the things you've done, the need you have to pursue even when it hurts someone. I see them running through the woods, the bitches and their stuff. There's beauty in their promise, though they have a taste for blood.
Hello folks, I am still here with Jill Thompson, and she has agreed to play From the Hip with me, that little piece of the interview where the questions are just a little more random and we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can just always claim the fifth, right?
Yes, indeed. Well, you know, it's like that old Talking Heads album. It's basically more songs about buildings and food. It's really, there's really not a lot. It's not all that crazy. Who would you say is your favorite singer that you don't know personally?
That I don't know personally?
Well, I'm always asking musicians, you know. I can't have them picking a best friend over another best friend. So
You mean a famous person?
anybody,
'Cause I wouldn't know it.
as long as you don't know them.
Sean Coleman.
All right.
Go with her first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can't
Don't
go
know
wrong
her.
there. Now, we were just walking past the crew pie a little while ago, which made me wonder what your thoughts of should pineapple ever be on a pizza?
No.
Okay.
I don't think it should ever be warm.
No, right?
I really don't.
Shouldn't be on a
like
ham.
raisins. Raisins should never be warm either.
All right, my wife is with you on that one for certain. What would you say of all the music you listen to, and again, not meaning that any music that anyone likes is bad music, what would you say is a guilty pleasure of yours?
Musically?
Yes.
Oh, geez, I don't know why I would consider it a guilty. Though.
Right,
What does that mean?
Well, like I grew up on Kiss. I still listen to them.
Oh, okay,
I mean,
something like that. Oh, so
that may,
maybe
you know,
like,
other people would look down their nose at that. I do not, but you know what I mean? That kind of thing. You know, if you're spinning Saturday Night Live soundtrack on Saturday nights, or you know.
I love Led Zeppelin. I don't know. Does that work? You know.
No, I don't think so, but that's okay. You know? Not everyone has a guilty pleasure. I grew up with, you know,
I don't
listening to
feel
lots of
guilty,
crazy
though.
stuff. Exactly.
When I listen to it.
Music's music. Do you recall what the first music that you purchased with your own money?
Oh. It was probably either a Joni Mitchell album or an Elton John, but I'm pretty sure it was Joni Mitchell.
Joni?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That could absolutely be.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time you were on a roller coaster?
Uh-huh. Like a year ago.
Oh, good for you.
And that's why we say it's the last time I was on a roller. It was
Will that be
it was Quasi Park, that little thunder thing
Yep,
they call
yep,
it.
yep.
That thing threw me around. I saw my life flash. I could have sworn
The
it
old
was
ones
gonna
bang
come
you
off.
around.
I could see myself getting catapulted out of there, and I wasn't right the rest of the day. Might have been a week.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. How many states have you lived in?
Maybe 3.
Okay. Would you tell me what they were?
Florida, Georgia, and Connecticut.
I had to think about the last one. Good.
Temporarily California. Yeah, I lived there. I mean, it wasn't a long time. In Massachusetts, yeah, Cape. So yeah, you didn't
About
say how
5-ish.
long. You just said
No,
lived there.
no.
So okay.
It's just, I mean, I just ask random
Yeah.
things that I'm just curious about, but wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily come up in a normal interview.
Yeah, yeah. We lived in Florida as a family for a while. Pensacola. It was beautiful back then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for playing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Ms. Thompson, if she is playing anywhere, you can find that information on Shoreline Music Monthly's Weekend Guide, which we put up every Tuesday-ish for the following weekend. So don't forget to find us on Facebook and check out the Weekend Guide if you want to track this young lady down. And thank you for playing my game.
Thank you.
Red-tailed hawks and red-tailed lights, red eyes up from crying all night, red lines drawn across the lawn, red-tailed lights and then you're gone. autumn leaves that turn to red, the color I felt after what you said, threads from your shirt on the bed. Everywhere I look there's something red, red wine stains on the floor, red paint chipping off the front door, red pens always keeping score. I never noticed so much red before. Red lips pressed against your cheek, red flames rising from the heat, the promises we couldn't keep, the red house we bought at the end of the street. Dried red roses in a vase, walking around in a daze. I guess that's just the way life plays. Good things come, but they don't stay now. Red don't mix well with anything else, you know, it's a flying color all by itself. I'm packing up one last shelf, I don't need anybody's help. You always said red looked good on me, but at least on one thing we agree, and I hope the same is true for blue. I hope the same is true for blue. As I wave goodbye